sometimes, the greatest gifts come from the people we never expect. That's how this story begins, with a choice made not for fame, not for wealth, but for love, kindness, and humanity. And by the end of Broken Bar you'll realize how one act of selflessness changed two lives forever. Aisha was just 24. A young nurse working in a crowded city hospital. She had grown up in a small town, raised by her widowed mother, learning early what pain and compassion meant. Life had never given her much except a heart that couldn't turn away from someone in need. Every day she tended to patients who couldn't afford medicine, held the hands of those who had no one, and whispered prayers for souls fighting their last battles. But one day, a new patient arrived, an older man, unconscious, connected to endless machines. His condition was critical. His kidney had failed completely. The hospital staff whispered rumors. He was rich, the CEO of one of the biggest corporations in the country. His name was Adam Khan, a man with more power and money than anyone could imagine. A broken bar, but with no family, no friends by his side. Despite his fortune, his hospital room was silent, and no visitors, no flowers. No one who cared if he lived or died. Aisha saw him every day as she made her rounds. His face, even in pain, carried a certain sadness, like someone who had everything but nothing at all. She checked his charts, changed his IVs, and quietly prayed for him. Days passed, and his condition worsened. Then came the announcement. He needed a kidney transplant urgently, but there was no donor. His blood type was rare. The hospital tried everything, but no one matched. The CEO's assistant offered money, an enormous amount, but no one stepped forward. That night, Aisha couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about that lonely man lying helplessly, fighting for his life. She didn't know him. She had no reason to care. But something inside her whispered, if you can save him, why wouldn't you? The next morning, she walked into the transplant department and asked for a test. I want to check if I'm a match, she said softly. The nurse looked at her, shocked. You know who he is? I don't care who he is, Aisha replied. I just want to help. Hours later, the results came. She was a perfect match. The doctors warned her. Kidney donation wasn't the small thing, it came with risks. But Aisha didn't hesitate. Without telling her mother, without asking for a reward, she signed the papers. The operation was scheduled. When Adam Khan woke up after surgery, he was confused, weak, and disoriented. The doctors told him he'd been given a second chance at life thanks to a donor who wished to remain anonymous. Weeks passed. Adam recovered quickly, but something inside him changed. He couldn't stop thinking about that unknown donor. He wanted to thank Amen, not out of obligation, but because, for the first time in years, someone had done something for him without wanting anything in return. A month later, Adam was discharged. He went back to his skyscraper office, his mansion, his world of silence. Yet the loneliness that had once comforted him felt heavier. He started visiting the hospital often, donating to patients, helping families in need. Somewhere deep down, he was trying to find her. Then one day, fate intervened. Aisha was walking down the hospital corridor when she saw him standing at the nurse's station, surrounded by doctors. She froze. He looked healthier, stronger, yet softer somehow. Their eyes met briefly, and for a moment, she turned away, pretending not to notice. But he did. He followed her quietly into the ward where she was tending to child. Excuse me, he said gently. Are you Nurse Aisha? She turned, surprised. Yes, a broken bar, Mr. Khan. How are you feeling? He smiled faintly. Alive via broken bar because of you. Aisha's hands trembled slightly. She hadn't expected him to find out. You weren't supposed to know. I had to, he said. You gave me life. I couldn't stay a stranger to my savior. That moment marked the beginning of something beautiful. Adam started visiting the hospital regularly, not as a CEO, but as a volunteer. He helped fund treatments, built new wings, and supported underprivileged patients. And each day, he found himself drawn closer to Aisha. He admired her humility, her warmth, her courage. She never asked for anything, not even recognition. And yet, unknowingly, she had awakened something in him, something beyond gratitude. As months passed, their bond deepened. Aisha began to see the man behind the name, the one who once lost everything to money and loneliness, but was now learning to live again. Adam, in turn, found peace in her simplicity. Then came the day when he decided to do something no one expected. The hospital held a charity event to honor their staff. Adam was the chief guest. When it was his turn to speak, he walked to the stage and paused, his eyes finding Aisha in the crowd. "There was a time," he began, "when I thought money could buy everything, a comfort, security, even love. But life proved me wrong, because one day, someone gave me the most precious gift of all, a part of herself without knowing who I was. That act didn't just save my life via a broken bar, it saved my soul." The crowd was silent. Aisha's eyes welled with tears as he continued, "Her name is Nurse Aisha, and today, I want the world to know that she is the reason I'm standing here." The applause was thunderous. Aisha tried to hide her tears, but Adam walked down the stage and took her hand. "You gave me a new life," he said softly. "Now let me spend it making yours better." The audience gasped as he knelt, not in a proposal of romance, but in respect at a man of wealth bowing to the woman who gave him life. From that day on, their lives intertwined, and not in a fairy tale way, but in something real and lasting. Adam continued his philanthropy, building hospitals in Aisha's name, while she remained the same humble nurse, saving lives one heart at a time. And when people asked her why she did it, why she gave her kidney to a stranger, she always smiled and said, "Because kindness never loses its way. What you give from the heart always finds its way back." By the end, Adam Khan was no longer the lonely millionaire. He had family again, and not by blood, but by choice. And Aisha, she became a symbol of compassion the world desperately needed. Their story wasn't about wealth or status. It was about how one act of selflessness can heal not just the body, but the soul. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching this right now will believe that kindness still has the power to change lives.